Good day, Father Matt Williams here, not in my parked car. We're looking at Book 3, Chapter 47 in the Imitation of Christ. All grievous things are to be endured for eternal life. Today's also the second Sunday of Lent, and the gospel today is the Transfiguration. And the Lord gives the apostles, Peter, James, and John, the Transfiguration experience so that they would be strengthened, that they would know that Jesus is the Son of God and that He is glorious. They would know the glory that who Jesus is, and the glory that they're all called to, and that this would strengthen them during Jesus' bitter passion, death, until the resurrection. In the beautiful prayer of the preface, it says that Jesus gives the experience of the Transfiguration to remind us that the passion leads to the glory of the resurrection. The passion leads to the glory of the resurrection. So our eyes as Christian pilgrims on this earth must always be about the future glory that awaits us. Thomas à Kempis is really, as the more I read this, chapter after chapter, he's trying to get us to remember that we're not created for this world, we're created for eternal life, and that we will be judged by the way we live our lives on this earth, and that to endure suffering, to persevere in the midst of adversity, to fight temptation, to embrace the cross of Christ, to do the hard things, to persevere, to endure with patience, is to embrace eternal life, is to live for the glory that awaits us, the crown of glory. He says that, he talks about the everlasting crown of the saints in heaven and how great the glory and the triumph that they experience now in heaven. And to remember that they were contempted, they were contemptible in this earth. They were persecuted. People killed our martyrs. They were not popular. They didn't live for earth. They didn't live for the glory of man. They lived for eternal salvation. Thomas à Kempis reminds us of the promises, right? Jesus says you need to remember the promises, my promises. So when you're in suffering or temptation or trial, we have to remember the promises of God, that He would be with us always, and that He is the resurrection and the life. Those who live and believe in Him will not die but have eternal life. He didn't promise that we would have a mountaintop life experience, that our life would be lived on the top of mountains. He said that if you want to be my disciple, you got to deny your very self, pick up your cross, and follow me. Jesus promised that there would be suffering to follow Him. However, He would be with us. We would experience His glory on this earth, but we would come to the fullness of glory in eternal salvation. So on this Transfiguration Sunday, and as we continue to meditate on the imitation of Christ, we are very much encouraged and strengthened today by the words of Jesus' promises, of the Church's teaching, that the cross leads, the passion of the cross leads to resurrection. That God has a crown of glory prepared for you and for me right now, and it is totally worth it. That when I sin, I'm selling away the future glory for a perceived glory now. And let's face it, sin never makes me happy, and the perceived glory now never makes me very glorious. It only makes me wanting more and more and more. And it alienates me from myself, it alienates me from others, it alienates me ultimately from God. When we forsake heaven and take our eyes off of the prize, we forsake heaven, embrace sin, and we're never happy. And we're struck with alienation from all angles. It never makes us happy. This Transfiguration Sunday reminds us of the glory that awaits us. And it is so wonderful, the crown of everlasting life, the splendor of eternal bliss. Heaven, the fulfillment of all desire, is worth it. That the cross leads. The passion of the cross leads to the glory of the resurrection. The passion of the cross leads to the glory of the resurrection. The passion of your suffering, of your temptation, of your trials, of your perseverance, of your bitter suffering leads to the glory of the resurrection. We have to keep our eyes fixed on the glory of the resurrection. For to take our eyes off of heaven is to lose everything. God bless you.